Okay, and we are up. So today we are going to see DNS server setting for internal networks, and what we are going to do is simply check. Okay, hopefully this will be done in 15 minutes. Internal server inside corporate networks simulation, as if it's inside a corporate network. Why, we'll see in a second. So why do we need internal DNS? So it will help you to set up internal resources so that you can access them only when you're connected to a VPN, and you can add a radius server which will handle the multi-factor authentication. Once that's done, the user will be connected to VPN, and once that is done, they can reach out to the internal sites. But the DNS for that can be controlled with the internal DNS, and it can also act as a security checkpoint, blocking malicious domains and different IP addresses for the same websites if they are accessed inside or outside the network. And other than that, we have the advantage of performance in caching and also auditing and troubleshooting. And so what else we are going to do is this. So the host name will be dnsi.internet.local.com. The IP address will be ending in 171. And the DNS server will be the external DNS server which we created in the last video. The gateway and the subnet will be the same. And the setup install will be the practically the same. We'll be adding the bind, adding it as this default for startup and starting in status. So in this lab, we'll be doing something special, which is different from the previous lab. Previous lab, we had created the DNS server, which needed to resolve that labweb.com. But here we are going to create new corp1.com, which will not be obviously accessible from the internet, but this will be resolvable only by the internal DNS. Okay, and no one on the external DNS will be able to access it. And we are just going to put some dummy 10.x series IPs. So the configuration is the same, only difference is newcorp1.com. So anything else which we don't know, we'll send to the external DNS, which is .181, this one. And the labweb.com will explicitly specify, just to show the contrast, that if we want, we can forward a specific site's DNS to a specific DNS server. And we'll be just creating this file and saving it. We'll do a zone check, and we'll do the check for the configuration, and then we'll start. Then we'll do a DNS lookup. This will be the external website, which will be through the .181, but because we are going to forward it through the internal DNS, we are going to use this like this. And this we are going to do an NS lookup for the same through the host machine, and the logs will be here. And okay, let's go to the practical. So let's go to VMware. Okay, here we go. Okay, we are going to create a VMware machine. Give me a second. Okay, we are going to create a VM. Same generic installer. We have already selected Alpine Linux ISO. So you can get this from the Alpine Linux download. Select virtual. There will be on orange background, and get the latest version. Remember to check the SHA-256 hash to make sure that nothing is altered. We'll be using the Linux 5.x kernel, and the name will be this. Location will be this. So I'm giving the name like this. You can give it whatever you want. It's easy to configure it like this, so you can know which one is which. Let me add a digit in front of it like I used to do. So this will be 3 dot. Okay, because I have a sequence. So in the test, if you see, okay, I can't show it. Okay, no worries. So second. Okay. Yes. So we are going to give 1 GB of hard disk. It should be more than enough. And we're going to customize the hardware to give 512 MB of RAM. It's more than enough. And 1 core should be fine. So we are matting. That's good. Finish. Okay, let's spin up the DNS server. It should be up in a second. Okay. Like always, we are going to run. We are going to log in as root. And like always, we are going to use setup -alpine. Fine. Let me see if I can clear this up. Okay, this is better. My keyboard is US layout, so I'm just selecting the default one. The DNS, the host name will be dnsi.internal.local. Select the default Ethernet interface. IP address will be 192.168.117.171. Let's check the slides. Yes, it's 171. Enter subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Gateway 192.168.117.2. No manual configuration, so press no. It'll take a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So the domain which we are going to give is internal.local. The name server, this is important. So the name server, we are going to point to the external DNS server, which is 181, which is set up right here. The host name is already showing up, and if you check the IP address, it should be this, which is 181. Yeah, so 181, 192.168.117.181. So this way it can do the external DNS photo. So let's quickly check. Dig www.google.com/192.168.117.181, and it returns us the IP address. So it should not have any problem. Press enter. You can give any password that you want. Time zone is Asia, Kolkata. I don't use any proxy. If you're using a proxy, click the proxy, select the default NTP. Select C for community and enter. It will fetch automatically. Do we want to create a user? No. SSH server default is good. Do you want root to log in through SSH? Yes. SSH key default is good. And hard disk. The hard disk is given as SDA. So this is what we'll select. And do you want to? Okay, give me a second. So sys, same LVM will ask sys or data. So sys is basically it will write it to the hard disk. SYS. This is the traditional disk install. Following will be created. So we're going to select this. Press yes. Do you want to erase the disk? Yes. And it'll take a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we're up. So this is where I always forget. Remember to reboot, or else anything which you do after without rebooting will never be saved. So we are up. Okay, let me bring up my Movax term. Let's log in and check. Password. Okay. Hosts. Host name myself. Okay, everything looks good. cat/etc result.com. Okay, DNS is also good. IP route. IP. Okay. So this is our IP address 171, right? So that is what we need to access. Next, 192.168.117.171. User is root. So the reason why it is giving me error, because I already created a lab before, so it had the same IP. So this I wanted to make it a quick one with the audio. So let's clear who am I, present working directory, cat etc hosts. Make sure we're in the same one, hyperspace. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add the bind. Let's clear everything. Okay, and bind. Press Control L to clear the screen, and let's add a few more things, which was this RC update add name D default. Okay. So what this will do is this will add the bind to the default booting. Boot at the time of boot. Okay, this is done. So we're going into the bind folder. See, bind. We'll create zones. Okay, and then create a folder. Touch etc bind zones pp.newcorp1.com. So this is where we will be hosting those websites. Okay, we'll edit the ls-ltrh vi name t.conf. Okay, press I to go into insert mode, and the file which we will use is a second. Yeah. So I have pre-populated everything to save time, but I'll just explain it quickly. So what this line means is you can only listen on the loopback address and this IP address, and these are the clients to which you will respond for any DNS queries. This will be the squid proxy in the future, and this will be the client IP. Let me add one more thing, because we will also use through our press I for insert. Okay, we're already in insert mode 192.168.117.1, because we'll test through the host machine. If you don't add it, it will not work. And anything which you don't know, send it to the external DNS server, which is this one, 181. Okay, this one. And as you see, this is the external DNS server. Host name -f. See DNS dot external dot local. Okay, and so we are going to create a dummy website which will be only accessible inside this particular corporate network. So this is the file which we created. From this, which it will pick up the data, it's the IP resolution, whatever needs to be done. And so we have intentionally, so the sequence is, first check the zones which have the entries in the files. Second, anything which needs to be forwarded, send it to them. And the last will be, if you don't, all these zones have been checked and you didn't find anything, then go to this one. So for example, google.com or yahoo.com or debian.com, anything which is not listed other than News Corp and labweb.com, send it to this. That's what this means. Press escape :wq, and let's populate that file which we created. Press I for insert. So basically what this is I am the startup authority for what? For newcorp1.com, and this is the email address of the admin who is in charge of this particular newcorp1.com. Who's the name server? I am. And what is the IP? This. And these are the internal sites. So what this means is hr.newscorp1.com, mgmt.newscorp1.com, sales. So all these sites will be these IPs. Okay. We haven't created anything for this particular servers. These are just meant to be POC, proof of concept. Okay, now that we have done this, okay, one more thing which we have to do is change the permission of this zones folder so that only named, means basically bind, can access them. And let's check the zone configuration if it's correct. Okay, serial 1 done. Let's check the name D. Check conf. Okay, we did something. Stop. Line number 23. Okay, I forgot to add a semicolon. So quit. Let me correct this. Give me a second. It's a good thing that we were able to fix it. Yeah, now everything looks good. So what we'll do is, see service name D status. It is not running. Run it. Okay. Now we are going to run some tests. Take www.labweb. Before we do this, ls-ltrh etc bind zones. So this is only what we have, and cat so you see we don't have anything for labweb.com as an entry under the zone file. We are not, so we are going to forward it. It's basically get the result back from the external DNS server. So let's check that. Dig. Let's clear this one. Dig www.labweb.com. Right. We're going to use our own IP address. And So this is basically pointing to the Nginx, which we haven't created yet, but we get a result back. And if we try new corp1, the domain doesn't exist. We are getting the reply back from here. So, but what we see that we are the start of authority, and this is the name server, this is the email address. Because if you, let me show you, cat etc bind zones db. See, there is nothing called as www. No entry for www. HR management, sales wiki, and everything. So what we can do is let's try with HR, and there you go. So if you try DNS resolution for the correct one, it will show. Similarly, we can try for technical support dot. We get the answer, and this is the A record answer section. And this is the A record, and this is the IP address. Okay. So now we have tested this internally. Let's test it from the host machine as well. Okay. I'm bringing the command prompt over. Okay, let's look up. So the default server for my PC is showing us Google. Let's change it to Cloudflare's IP and try newcorp1.com. So actually newcorp.com was taken, so I just thought to use newcorp1.com, and obviously it can't find. So let's try with Google server, DNS server as well. Obviously Google also can't find it because no one has registered newcorp.com. So what we'll do is we will point to our DNS server. Okay, server 192.168.7.171, and if we run, we are getting back a reply. Okay, we haven't put anything, so let's put a, yeah, so now we can see that we're getting a reply back. Let's try for others. GMT, see. So all the entries which we have given, we can try sales, and we can also try engineering wiki. What happened? Okay, it's a double G probably. Yeah. So you see, we can use an internal DNS server to resolve it. So what we can also do is we can try to check www.labweb.com. See, the difference between this one, you don't see anything saying that non-authoritative answer, but this one shows you that, especially this non-authoritative answer means I looked up with some other DNS server and I got you the answer. That's what it's saying, right? Let's try www.google.com and the same. So what it did was, it internal DNS went to external DNS, which is this one, dnse.external.com, and external DNS actually went to, if we see cat etc bind name d.conf. So external DNS went out to Cloudflare and Google's DNS, and it got the IP address from there. But from the point of view of the internal DNS, right, the 171, it says like I had to check from another DNS server. That's why it's saying I'm not the authoritative answer. So if we check for, let's say, hr.newscorp.com, you don't see this particular line. So I hope that is helpful. to know how these look different. Okay, I'll wrap this up in a second, but you can have a look at the logs by checking tail -f. Clear tail -f var log messages and grep name. Okay, we are doing tail, right? So that's what's showing like that. Let's do less. And it's showing all the things which it did. Running, compiling, listening on this IP address, our own IP, and it tried to look up the zone newcorp1.com serial number this. So I hope that was helpful and have a great day.